Okay. So yes, there's 16 different muscle groups in your vagina. You have your pelvic floor, which is actually like a hammock that is crisscrossed. So you have one striation that goes from the coccyx to the pubic bone, and the other that goes from the left and right to the sides of your sits bones. So it's sitting like a hammock like this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what actually holds up all of your internal organs. So
Right.
that is the pelvic floor. Your vagina is not the pelvic floor. That is.
Hmm.
So it's just the part right at the perineum. It's just one tiny muscle, or it's not tiny, it's actually very large. It's a muscle group that just holds everything up. So when you say squeeze your pelvic floor, most people will squeeze everything down there, and they don't have dexterity. They don't have the ability to even differentiate what they're squeezing most of the time. So if you've ever been to pelvic floor physical therapy, one of the goals is to help you learn how to feel what are you squeezing, right? So the JDEG is really helpful for this, because not only does it give you a point of reference to start figuring out what are you actually squeezing there, because you have an anterior side of the vagina, a posterior side, you have the left side, you have the right side, you have a muscle group all the way up towards the cervix, you have the perineum itself. There's just it's so complex. And when you work with the JDEG, you develop greater dexterity to be able to squeeze and release different uh, muscle groups in the vagina.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is this helpful because it's strengthening and toning your vagina, but because it allows you to feel more pleasure as you're squeezing and releasing, because the strength and tone of your vagina is directly correlated to your orgasm. So, how long and strong it is. So, most women are walking around with atrophied vaginas.
Oh.
Although you don't want to think of it that way, if you have problems with urinary incontinence, if you have prolapse issues, then this is all a sign that you have lots and lots and lots of work to do. It's not normal to have these issues, but we've made it
Mm.
normal in society by saying funny little things like, "Oh, after you have a kid and you sneeze, that's totally normal. You can't go on the trampoline," and so
And a lot of women struggle with that, absolutely, and for decades after having their kids. And it sounds like, with the jade egg practice, there's absolutely tools that we can use to fix that up faster
yeah.
than 10 years and not doing anything.
Right. And you can Kegel muscle exercises are what doctors always tend to recommend, but well, first of all, they were developed by a man, so you know, not too sure how effective that's going to be for strengthening and toning your vaginal wall and your pelvic floor. But
Hmm.
it also doesn't, like, that's basically like telling someone to squeeze your pelvis is like saying that in order to increase tone and strength of my arm, I'm going to squeeze my entire arm. But if I want better biceps, how is squeezing my entire arm and all of the muscles in my arm going to help my biceps? It doesn't. So it can only get you
Hmm.
so far, with Kegel exercises. But if you really want to work on the tone and strength of your vagina, using a jade egg is a great reference point, because you you feel it, you squeeze it, you release it, you squeeze it, you release it at different depths of the vagina, and you also do different breathwork practices and meditations around it as well. So it's a bit woo for some people, but almost everyone that I've worked with that has tried it and that was like scared that, oh, it's not going to work for me. I'm not a spiritual person. Like, this isn't going to work. It always does. It works. It's magic,
Mm.
whether you actually believe in it or not. So, anyway, well, I
Well,
guess
I
we'll
mean,
go.
that's like saying, well, I don't believe in like jade egg practice improving my vagina. Is like saying, like, I don't believe like lifting weights is going to make my biceps bigger. And it's like, let me think about that for a second. It's like, well, if you do it regularly, with some training and some support to know what you're doing. I mean, hauling a weight around all day is maybe not going to improve your muscles, but if you have guidance and you know what to do with that weight, absolutely your biceps are going to get bigger.
There's so much more for you over in the Joygasmic Life membership. Become a bulletproof mom with us, learn the tips and tricks and skills you need to recover from your postpartum mental health journey, and learn the tools of Joygasmic alchemy so you can have the kind of birth you've been dreaming of.